Hi there. We're now at the instructional part. We're going to get to your first test requirements that are in your packet. Your packet contains all the information and the requirements for your 10th cube test. You'll notice that most of it all deals with the bow. The weapons, the bow, of course, is the primary weapon. That is the oldest of all the weapons in the traditional weapons series. And the typical name for it is Roku Shakubo, meaning 6-foot staff or a 6-foot stick. Back here we have a number of other weapons. You'll notice the nunchaku. You'll notice the sai. These are a pair of kama. These are the wooden ones. We don't have the ones with the live, what we call live, or the regular sharp blades out. We have some tunkwa or tungfa out here. And these are some of the traditional weapons. We also have some other weapons here. We'll be training in the tinaka, which is a hand weapon. In a moment, I'll show you a rack where we have the bow and we also have the yeku. One of the first and probably the most important things that you need to understand is whenever you're working with either the bow or any of these weapons, you must first be concerned with safety. That means two things. One, always check your weapon to make sure that it's not cracked, because you could wind up, if it was cracked, breaking it, and an end of the bow, for example, flying and hitting one of your training partners. The other thing is you don't want to be close enough so that when you move the bow, you hit a wall, hit the mirror, or especially hit one of your training partners. If you're doing this at home, you certainly don't want to ruin your TV set, or break a lamp, or hit your wife, your husband, or one of the children. Remember, always safety first. Safety is very important. All the weapons. Typically, for the bow, you want a hard piece of wood. I like oak. This happens to be in my hand, Okinawan red oak. It's very hard. It's very durable. I use it for kata. I use it for bunkai. Bunkai is the application where we hit another bow with the bow. In a moment, we'll see some others that we'll use for bunkai or can be used for bunkai. You want to pick out a good weapon. Make sure that the grain of the weapon is straight and that has no knots on it. You also do not want a weapon that has a varnish finish on it. Oftentimes we'll sell or you'll buy a very inexpensive bow for a beginner which has varnish on it. First thing we ask you to do is sandpaper that light coat of varnish off and get down to the natural wood. The bow needs to be lubricated with your natural body oil, which comes out on the bow as you use it, and as you sweat, really, coming out of the bow, as well as all the other weapons, particularly the nunchaku or the tonfa on the handles. Now we're going to walk over here and show you the other bow racks, and you're going to notice some bamboo bows, some lighter bows. Some of the bows that you may even see in here that you pick up are extremely light in weight. Those very lightweight bows are not to be used for any type of bunkai because they will break. Oftentimes people like to use them simply for demonstration purposes because they can move them faster. Some of the other bows, like the bamboo bows, or the regular other square bows that aren't tapered like this one, are used for bunkai and other applications. Most of these bows are either owned by myself or the dojo. A few of them are owned by some of the students. Eventually you will want to purchase your own bow, and you can see Sensei Rick or myself about that purchase, and we will get you a bow. As you learn all of these weapons, eventually you'll want to buy your own weapon because as they say in some of the books, the soul of the samurai or the soul of the weapon, it's your soul that gets into it because of your spirit through your body oils and your sweat that goes into the weapon. The next thing I want to do is I want to talk to you about how to hold the bow, and that is we divide the bow in 3 equal pieces. In order to do that, we put our hands on the bow approximately here. There are 4 grips. If you grip it like this, both hands are palm down. Typically, you will very rarely, if ever, use this grip. Another grip is where both hands are palm up. Again, I can't ever recall using this grip. I recall one kata where one movement has the grip like this ever so briefly. Most of the time, you will have the right palm up, the left palm down, and this is typically considered a right-handed striking grip, forward striking grip. When it's the other way, with the left palm up and the right palm down, then it's the left-handed striking grip this way. So typically, you're always going to have the bow in this position or in this position. You don't want the bow here. You don't want the bow here. You can't swing it from this position. You have to have it here. So work hard on learning these positions. Now we're going to go over to another part of the dojo here, and we're going to do some basic exercises to help you get the feeling of the movement of the bow, get the feeling of having it in your hand, and get the feeling of strengthening and exercising your wrist and your body. So take a second, get your bow, make sure the lamps are out of the way, make sure you're not going to cause any damage to anybody, and we'll move over to another part of the dojo here and start some exercises. Well, you have your bow now. Are you ready to start finding out how to move it? What I want you to do is I want you to put the bow in your hand like this. I want you to take it up over your head. I want you to take it down, up, back, and just kind of stretch those shoulders. Let your hands be on the bow, but not squeezing it. Make sure you have plenty of room. You're not going to hit anybody or anything in the house. Now, put it behind your neck. Hands up. Just relax. Now, just lean over the side. Stretch. And back. Stretch. Back. Stretch. We're going to do a few of some of these. There's a little sheet in your pocket that talks about little warm-up exercises. I may not even do them in the order that they're in the packet. Bend over. For those of you who are flexible enough to actually touch your toes, go ahead. Just twist and down. Twist. Back. Good. Put the bow in your hand. Right in the middle. Now here, rotate the bow. Start off just going to parallel. And then slowly let it drop a little more. Try to keep your hand in the same line as your shoulder. No cheating and going like this. Keep it out there. And try to get it vertical. And then past. Just like that. Go slow. Let it stretch. Get the feel of the weight of the bow. Put it on the other hand and do the same thing. Slow, start slow, and slowly build it up to make the movement. Notice it's a lot easier to go forward than it is to go back. Obviously, that way needs to be stretched even more. Take from here all the way down to the end, depending on the strength you have in your wrist. Put the bow in front of you. Lower the bow without touching the ground, using your wrist. Pick it back up as high as you can go without moving your hand, just your wrist. Drop it down and bring it up. Lift to your wrist. You have to make sure you have a decent grip on the bow. Do that with both hands. Start. If it's too heavy, move the bow up. The idea is to do it whatever's best for you. For those of you who are very strong, go ahead and move it down there. Okay. And come up. Real good. A lot more pressure. Try not to hit the ground with the bow. Sense where it's at. In the beginning, you may have to look at it and watch it. That's okay. The next exercise is actually the same exercise, only this time, instead of in the front, we're going to do it to the rear. So it drops this way, and then you pull it up this way. Side, close to the ground, pull it up, just use your wrist. Feel that stretch. Feel it working. If you have more strength, push it down to here. Pull it up. All right. Down and up. Down, slow, and up slow. And then switch and do the other on the other side. Do both sides. Now this one, be very careful. Your bow, your palms up. Here. What we're going to do is we're going to call a figure 8. Pick a place out in front of your nose as your target. You want to hit that, pass through it with each end of the bow. So, 1, take the bow down, cross to the other side of the body, and now hit it with the back side of the bow. And bring that down to here. And then rotate it over. And then dip it back, hit that side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can't grip it real tight. You have to have some flexibility in your hand as well as your wrist. And try to hit that target. At first you're going to be moving all over the place and slowly try to bring in that point right to the same place every time. Nice and easy. Right? When you feel nice and good with that one, then do it on the other side. Notice I've moved my foot forward for the hand that is holding the bow. In Japanese, it's not only called a bow, sometimes it's called kon, K-O-N, or kun, K-U-N. There you go. And when you get real good, take the bow and use 2 hands. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you have to have your hands loose on the bow so that you can move them around. And go slow. It's real good. You have to move your body. I notice my right hand is on top, this way. My left hand's on the bottom, this way. This way. Can't do it this way, it doesn't work. Here, here. For those of you who had baton twirling in school, there shouldn't be any problem. Okay. And then switch, left side, same thing. 1, 2. Now that you get real good with this, take your right hand, put your right hand here, hold the bow out. If you have to, hold it here. If you're strong, hold it here. And just try to take it, turn it, make sure you clear the ceiling, rotate it down, again in front of you. I'm going to drop it because I don't want to hit our ceiling here. And this will also give you some flexibility with both hands. Now we're going to get into how to change your grip on the bow. The key grip that you're going to use most of the time will be changed by sliding the hands. This hand comes down, this hand goes up, and the bow changes, and this is what you want to accomplish. One way of looking at this is if your hands are like this, your hands go like that. Up, down, release, they slide, they do not leave the bow, and they regrip. You need to do that here. Try to slide and finish. Make sure you try to finish in thirds every time. This is essential. In a few minutes, we're going to do it like this. The other way we change the grip, we move it out to the side. The right palm is up. If you recall, a few minutes ago, I said that's like right hand forward. So let's put the right hand in front this way. Now we want to change the grip without ever taking our hands off of it. So the right hand, we release the fingers, not the thumb. Bring the fingers up on top, so you're holding like this. Bring the bow back here. At this point, you put this thumb back under. You bring your left thumb on top, and then as you push out, your fingers circle around. That way, nothing is left. To go the opposite direction, you just reverse the technique. So you just slide the bow. Now, this looks a lot easier than it really is. But this way, if somebody should hit the bow while you're changing your grip, you have a chance of holding onto it. Okay? This is very important. This grip and this grip. You will see those in the katas, in the hojandos, and the like. Now when you get real good, just to show you a few more moves, this particular move is actually in the beginning and opening of the katas, or in the beginning and opening of hojandos. Take the bow out in front like this, right palm up, left palm down. Lift the bow up in front of your head, on top, turn it, so that your right hand feels like it's on top of your head, your left hand is out front. Keep rotating. As you rotate around and cross your hands, you start bringing it down, and the bow comes in like this. Now you're in the position, a formal position, to bow, or as you'll see, right, it's called. So you do that again to unwind. From the side, we take our left hand and push down, and the right hand naturally curls up to bring the bow right here in this position, which you will see is in the hojandos and in the katas as you progress. Show you that again, maybe a little from the side. Lift, turn, and down in position. Your hands are like this. This is underneath. Release through here. And when we do some of the hojandos, you'll notice we then relax this and push it back. Notice my hand is flexible, and then we're in this position that we need to be in on occasion. So you need to practice those just even from here. You have to allow the bow to move inside your hand, even though you have a grip on it. It's not a death grip. You can't go like this or you can't turn it. You have to be able to move your hands and rotate the bow. Eventually, as you're able to lift this movement, now you notice if you change your hands, you can lift and go this way. This way. You can change your hands. Also, you can do this, put it here, and go over the top, which we also do on occasion. We're here, we bring it here, we take and put it over the top, and now in this position, ready to go here. For example, if we were finishing a movement, we finished here, and we're here and back. One last thing is I'm going to show you how to do the same movement, but we're going to change. So when you get more adept and you feel real comfortable, you can do this. So you lift it, go here, turn it around, and as you turn, change the right hand. Notice how I changed my palms on there. There goes my finger around, my thumb. That thumb came up, and now the palm. And now that I'm here, I can go like this. Now, I can undo that as I go around my top hand. The fingers turn around. My thumb goes under. My right thumb comes up on top, and now my fingers go under. And I'm here. Okay? Nice and easy. Nice, smooth transition of the bow. And then if you want, you can step, 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 and step. And there we are. Go back to here. And that's the bow. And stick around, because I'm going to shift gears over here, and we're going to do the basic hotundo.